Hey, I am Brannon Beliso. It is Friday, November. What is it? November 14th? I believe it's the 14th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the West Coast. Again, I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps, where we as a collective try to figure out this thing called life, right? We're small business owners, in particular, martial arts school owners, and really, no, we just finished a 4-day event for It's Time Life Freedom, and everybody's here just wanting to be better versions of themselves, wanting to create that freedom in their business. It's just so meaningful to know that we didn't want to just create jobs for ourselves and be terrible bosses, that we genuinely understood the American dream, right? What America was built on, the person's small business being able to come here from somewhere else, start this business, own a home, save for retirement, put their kids through colleges, right? We should all be able to do that if that's your basic dream. And if you want to scale it bigger, you should be able to do that as well. But we understand as entrepreneurs and small business owners, you determine your amount of wealth. Right? If I go work for somebody and I do 40 hours a week, I'm going to make a certain amount of money, certain amount of raises, certain amount of vacation with pay, and I can map that thing out for 40 years. What's neat about entrepreneurship is you can go from 0 to a million in a matter of years, right? And that's the beautiful thing. So we're all trying to figure it out. What's the right information? What's the right systems? And today's show is going to be pretty much all about that. What do you do next to get to that next level? But before we get into that, let's thank the people coming aboard. Bob Poole, how are you, my brother? Welcome, Bob Poole. Bob Poole, let's thank our sponsors, right? To SAW, Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kin Creative. All businesses I work with. We had Adam was out here from Kin Creative, and just spending time walking with him and talking with him was amazing. Amazing. Tusaw sponsored our t-shirts. Everybody comes together. And that's the one thing I think I love about the world I'm able to cultivate around me. A lot of family, a lot of good people I love. I don't think there's anybody that's there that I'm not afraid to tell them I love them. If I don't love you on day 1, I'll love you by the end of day 4, right? And so I think that's beautiful. Conrad, congratulations, sir. Newly married, back from his honeymoon. He went on a honeymoon too, right, Conrad? At Respect Martial Arts. And he moved the school. He's got a lot of stuff going on, right? Conrad's just got a lot of good stuff going on. And that's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing. What else is going on? It's time live group mentoring. It's time group mentoring. Let me rephrase that. Again, me and the team got closer. I watched their growth as they worked with the different people at It's Time Life Freedom, the learning, Marco and Jason and Amy, and the confidence. Amy, I still got Amy on my mind. Miss Moweek. The ability to move with more confidently, with a better belief, is only making what we have to offer the small school owner much, much more impactful. So do consider a discovery call with me or Marco, or Monique, or Jason, and see why. We are not consultants. We are mentors. Huge, huge different. We just got off our mentoring call, and it's a much different. A consultant solves one challenge. We help you create the type of life that you deserve. 24/7, 365 in your back pocket, talking you off the ledge some days, and celebrating the great victories like we're going through with Mark Wynn today. Cool? So what's it all about, right? Here we are, folks. It is November. Some of us have moved schools. Some of us are closing schools, opening schools, implementing new systems, working on curriculum, staff development, right? We're all doing a lot of different things. But the big question is, what should I be doing next, right? We know we should be doing all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. All of it. So I'm going to try to give you a philosophy. And as you come aboard, say hey, tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm very grateful when I know people are actually here with me. Talking into the abyss like this is one thing, but to know you're right there, Conrad, Bob, I appreciate you. So give me your questions, give me your comments, and be part of this conversation. So what I do, and I've always done, is I know I need to work on staff development. I know I need to work on social media. I know I need to work on my instructors training program. I know I need to work on my curriculum. I know I need to work on my brand. I understand all that, but things have priorities, right? Things have priorities. So number one is create your list. A list has to happen right now. Teach classes, the things you have to do every day, right? Otherwise, the school will just fold tomorrow. The B list, the 6 to 8 weeks out. One of the people at It's Time said, I'm not good at organizing these events. I said, the first thing I'd like you to do, hey, Art, what's up, Art? Pop that up there, sir. Near Tacoma, Puyallup, Washington, from Tacoma. Hey, Art, welcome to the show. So the B list is 6 to 8 weeks out. Like they said, they were going to do something for Black Friday, and I said honestly, I wouldn't involve myself at this point. I would look at the holiday party like that because you want a 6 to 8 week window to promote something. For example, right now our holiday party is up there. It's being people are signing up for it. We put it in the e-newsletter. It's playing on our Market Muscles TV. There's a flyer throughout the school. And, I'll send some SMS texts through our app as we start getting closer to the date. You want a 6 to 8 week window. I think the fortunate thing with digital media is we can have things instantaneous. And where did I really learn that from was a group called Off the Grid. They're a bunch of really cool food trucks. All they would do 4 or 5 hours is post at Instagram. Hey, we're going to be here in this parking lot at this time. And they would have people galore show up. That's how powerful social media can be. But we don't quite have that leverage yet. You can't sit there Friday night. And you might get a few stragglers and saying, hey, tomorrow we got the holiday party. So I think it's really important. Puyallup. Thank you, sir. Puyallup. I learned a new word today. Puyallup. And so I've recognized that B list, and then your C list is your dream list, right? One of the things we always wanted to do as a family was go to Japan. And we went this summer, and it was actually something we were planning, as far back as January of 2025. So again, successful events, successful businesses plan. You don't sit there at the end of the month and say, I need 10 new students. What do I need to do? Right? Got to make rent. 10 new students. What ad should I run? That is a very emotional response to something that is very deficient in your business. You with me? So A list, open the door, take the money, teach your classes. B list, anything planning 6 to 8 weeks out. C list is your wish list. I need that wish list. I need that dream list because there's things I'm working towards beyond the obvious of the day-to-day grind. So that helps me a lot in deciding what needs to be worked on in a given day. Okay? Because we're talking about what's next, right? What should a school owner be doing next to get to that next level? All right. So, not an English word. Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Art. Every decision I make, every move I make, I make sure it's rooted in my purpose. Ours is to live your best life, right? That's what we do. Live your best life. So I'm mindful in that process. Who do we have here, sir? Shen. Who is that, Marco? Shen W. Ballerina, Cappuccina. That's Italian. Who is that? Welcome, Shen. Oh, it's Shan. We got new people on the show today. I'm a happy camper. I always love new people joining us. My purpose is to live your best life. So if we're having a meeting and a team member says, hey, here's a great idea, blah, 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 blah. My first reply is, does it help us fulfill our purpose of live your best life? And they say, well, okay. And if it does, we'll have a deeper conversation. If it doesn't, we table it. It's a simple place to operate from that weeds through all the BS and the distractions, right? And the noise. People talk a lot about that. We're distracted by screen, our cell phone and our reels and our TikToks. And it's so easy to be distracted from taking care of business. And so I'm a huge advocate of living within my purpose. Very important for me. Very important. Oh, very important. Hold that thought and I'll get to the third part. Pop up Conrad's. What's Conrad got there for us? I know you don't do sibling discounts. We recently got rid of sibling discounts and did not grandfather in any of our families. We merely increased their rates. I was terrified to do this, but not one person complained. And new students never asked because they don't know. New students don't know. My question is, I have 3 families of 5, and they are requesting discounts. I was thinking about the 4th or 5th family member being free. What do you think about this? Well, you know me, I'm not a transactional person. Conrad, I'm a relationship person, right? I talk about that all the time. If I build a business that's relational and not transactional, they will be with me through the hard times. We will work it out when we have hard conversations, right? That's super important because my relationship, like I've been married 18 years, we don't always get along. We don't always see eye to eye, but we value our relationship so we can work through the challenges, the difficulties, the different things that go on in life. So I'm glad nobody quit, because what we do when we do a tuition increase, we give them a 3-month window to let them know it's going to happen. New students don't know. We've already increased the price. New students have zero idea of this tuition increase because they're walking through the door and signing up, right? And then we do encourage them to buy 1 year paid in full at the current rate. And I'm not big on cash outs, Conrad. And cash outs are not my thing. Not my thing. I want to make sure that we do that as a perk so they can buy 1 year paid in full at the current tuition rate and avoid the increase for another year. We don't do 10% off or anything like that. The most they can do is use a check or cash and avoid the credit card fee. That's it. That's it. Now, these families of 5, I'm going to ask, I think, an even better question. What is your relationship with them, with these 3 families or 4 families? What is your relationship with them? You have 3 families with 5 kids each, right? Is what you're telling me? 3 families of 5, right? So tell me about the relationship with them. Cool? Go on, we'll keep going. And then I'll answer that for you. Art, what's Art sharing with us, sir? Signal to noise ratio. Signal is our purpose, noise is everything else. I love it. I love it. That's a very great expression of that, Art. Very great expression. I would think a family of 5 who's in your school is probably a long, pretty invested relationship, right, Conrad? You with me? You with me? You with me? You with me? I'm sure they are. I'm sure that's going to be Conrad's reply. So I'll work with that scenario first. What I would do, the funny thing is they find family of 5 referred the second family of 5. Well, that's a lot of revenue there, sir. So you have 2 options. The reason I'm not big on the 4th or 5th person free, because real estate is real estate. When I look out on that mat, and that's why I'm not into sibling discounts or anything like that. I see, it's like real estate. This dot is worth $50 a class, right? That's pretty much our going rate. A person's paying $50 for a class. Second person, $40. Third person, free. That does not help me in achieving the financial number that I am after. And if I have good quality service, it's like Southwest Airlines, Conrad, everybody flies first class. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. But now, based upon the relationship, and that's why I asked that question, because I think the relationship is more important. And if you genuinely know they can't afford to pay you the current rate that you're asking for with your tuition increase, genuinely know that for a fact, then I would make some type of concession. And no matter what that concession you offer them, it would only be good for a year. And after a year, they can budget better, do whatever they need to do. After a year, then it goes to the regular, everybody pays the same, right? That's what I would do. I have families of 3 and 4 in our school, and they all pay the same rate. Yeah. And they love you, right? And they love you. So you have that. And it's fair. You know what? Here's the concession I'm going to offer you, but I can only do it for a year, right? We've moved to a new location. We got all this stuff going on, but after a year, then I'm going to ask that everybody pays the same. See, that's fair, right? It's not saying my way or the highway, Conrad. You're making a concession for a year. And if they love you that much, they'll figure out a way to budget it. Because honestly, when people love what you do, when they believe in what you do, they will pay you any amount of money to do it, right? as long as, and we talked about this a lot at It's Time, Life Freedom on Sunday, people need to feel seen, heard, and valued. Those are the three keys to retention or the trial class, any part of the journey, right? In that relationship. If they feel seen, okay, they feel heard, right? Whatever their needs are, and they feel valued. So if you're fulfilling those three things, Conrad, you know, and they love you, they must feel seen, heard, and valued. So to have a very transparent and honest conversation about that, because no one's getting a discount now, right? All five family members are paying the same amount, no sibling discounts, nothing like that. I hope not. So if they're all paying the full price now, moving forward, all of them paying the full price now should technically not be an issue. So I would believe genuinely they're coming to you and asking for a discount because it will greatly impact them right now, right? And it just might be right now. The situation economically may change in the next year where that's not an issue. I'm here in Millbrae, California. California as a whole is a pretty rich state. So, we're not impacted by a lot of that stuff, but there's small pockets, right? Federal workers being laid off here in the tech sector. There's tons of people being laid off and being replaced with AI. So, yeah, there's a certain impact that we want to be mindful of. And I would treat it on a case by case basis. To be honest with you, if at the end of the year I said everyone's going to pay the same amount, and they come back at me and say, we really can't afford that, but we love it here, then I would have another conversation. I would have another one. Because would you rather have the revenue of 8 of them and 2 people are free versus none of that revenue and they're loyal and they've been there a long time and they're telling you they love you and they're telling you they don't want to leave, but they genuinely can't afford it? Again, there's some other variables in there that any answer I give you would not be the whole answer. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I say the whole answer. So I want you to consider that. Okay, so going back to the 1, 2, 3 list, A, it's got to happen right now. When you say, what do I have to do next in my business? Teach well. Teach great classes today. The only way I can teach great classes today is curriculum review and training my team and having a clear path from white to black belt. Okay? All of that in the mix. All right. So then this is a very important one for me. And we've already just shared that. We discuss purpose. Everything we do is from purpose. If it doesn't fulfill our purpose, we don't do it. It's that simple. It's that simple. So those are some of the healthy guardrails. Now, this is a very important one and one I want you to think about. I take a bunch of Post-its and I can write on it, revamping the curriculum. I could write on it, recording curriculum videos. I can write on it, hiring new staff. I can write on it, staff development. I can write on it, planning for the new year, right? We're budgeting right now. I'm spending all the money, so I don't pay taxes on it before the end of 2025. There's so many moving parts. So you write them all down on Post-its and put them up on the wall. Okay, put them on the wall behind you. I learned this from Nike. I worked with a Nike executive for about 5 months, teaching me how to brand, how to develop purpose. And the first thing he did is, here's what I do. So he asked me the question, define your company to me. And I said, well, we're a community. That went up on the wall. We're family. Boom. We're about integrity. Boom. We're about transparency. Boom. We're about living your best life. Boom, boom. And pretty soon there's like maybe 30, something like that, different things up on the wall, right? Then he said to me, you have to only pick 9. Wow, that was hard, right? From 30 something, we whittled it down to 9. And then after the 9, he said, you can only pick 3. See, so talk about the noise. While I had this big bird's eye view picture of my business, all these 30 things, when the day was done, there's really 3 things we do. 3 things we do, right? Really do. And that is helping people live their best life. Number 1, what do you do? What's the purpose of this company? To help people live their best life. How do you do that? By creating a community through quality martial arts instruction, life skills education, and family culture building. Okay, great. Wonderful. Wonderful. What's the third thing you do, right? And it went on. It went on. So I think it's really important to go through that exercise to decide what you're going to do, because there's a billion things you could do in your business. Some guy said to me the other day, you know what I'm doing? I'm getting vending machines in my business. And I said, well, what does a vending machine with drinks in it or candy, have anything to do with the culture of your business and the why. He says, well, what do you mean? I said, well, if I walk into an Apple store, am I going to see a vending machine with soda pop and potato chips and stuff in it? Oh, no, never. Okay, great, wonderful. If I walk into a Nike store, am I going to see that? No. If I walk into the Disney store, am I going to see that? No. I walk into a five-star restaurant that everybody goes to for their chicken cacciatore. They're going to have a vending machine in there? Well, no. So why are you going to have a vending machine? Well, it's going to bring additional revenue. I don't care if it makes additional revenue. If it's going to taint my brand or dilute my brand or create distortion in my culture, there's no reason for it to be there. I'm sorry, right? And I don't want uh, some kind of soft drink associated with one martial arts. You with me? So again, deciding what you're going to do is super, super important. And if it lives within the purpose, then when you put all the different things up on the wall, the things that to fulfill your purpose, ours is live your best life. Those are the things I ended up gravitating towards. Because again, you can do a million things to grow your business, and 99.9% of them will not do anything to impact your business or get you to the next level. They're simply noise, right? Let's see what Art has to say. Thank you, Art, for participating. What's he got there? I have 6 students, new professional website. Okay. Small studio on my property. Best way to get my name out and convert more students. Considering starting to work with preschools. Team is me, myself, and I. Great place to start, Art. The fact that it's out of your home or on your property, I would assume there's not a lot of foot traffic. So we have to table that one, right? If you don't have a lot of foot traffic, that one goes. And I've worked with schools that have their martial arts school in an industrial park where they don't, enjoy the commercial traffic like I do. I'm very big on location, 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 but I pay dearly for it. Millbury is $16,000 a month. But we have a Starbucks, a Trader Joe's, a 24-hour fitness. We have all these anchor stores that I believe have the best people to do the demographic study to determine why they want to be right there, right? And it's very kid-centric. There's a lot of cool things like that in relationship to that. So let's look at that. You don't have that, but you have 6 students. I would do everything I can through inspiration, through conversation, through incentive, have them start referring people to you, right? We do a simple thing, Art, $50 off next month's tuition if you refer somebody that signs up for a membership. Pretty simple, right? And in Millbrae, our best way of getting new students is referrals. But don't get me wrong, Art, I would never market one way to 70 people. I would market 70 ways to 70 people, right? And I've said that many, many times before. So number 1 is internal referrals. That's a big one. I still have 6 students, and those 6 students ideally can be brand ambassadors for what we do. But in a subtle way, I need to incentivize that. Again, the $50 referral fee, I think is very powerful. Why not I don't know what the property's like. If there's other activities you could do, put a bouncy house out there for a day. I don't know what that looks like, right? Could I do some type of grand opening there and invite the community to come see it? I used to have this inappropriate saying because I like this movie, The Field of Dreams. And somebody called me out on it. They were half right and I was half right. But I used to say, build it and they will come, right? Yeah, to a certain degree. And it looks really good with Kevin Costner and the whole movie thing, building this baseball field in the middle of a cornfield on a farm, right? I get that. I get that. I get that. What's he saying about moving? Oh yeah, you plan to move, and I think that's really good. When I opened up San Francisco, Art, I was teaching at the Park and Rec, 3 different health clubs, and a couple of martial arts schools. Now at the time, Taibo was really big, so when I went to open my school, I had 100 kickboxers right away, right? But I knew that was going to be a trend-based thing, and unless I pivoted and adapt to whatever was going on in the fitness, which we have, but we don't have 100 kickboxing students in a given class anymore, like back in the Taibo's days. So having 75 students before you move to a commercial location, I think is a very disciplined and healthy pursuit. What I would be mindful of, Art, is as I'm going along, Is the fact that this school is out of my home a detriment? Is it slowing down my growth? Do I need to take that leap of faith, bite the bullet, and move into a commercial space before I get to 75 students? And the months are going to tell that. If you're not doing about a net five, right? Students are going to quit, students are going to come. And again, this is because you're in a property. If it was a commercial space, I would tell any school owner you want net 10 up to net 20 a month, right? And net is because some people will quit, some people will stay, right? And sign up. Yeah, plan is to move commercial after 25. Yeah, $50 off. Good referrals, good. Um, Considering what's that? Consider a book series and reading in libraries. Yes, but again, if it's a chat generated chat GPT book, just because of the sensitivity of time, I have a children's book out. It took me a long time to write it. Well, it's a book on focus that a lot of the school owners will use. So you can do that. Again, a lot of people will buy my children's book, slap their logo on the back, and go for Reader of the Day. I like Reader of the Day because if you go to most environments you're in, the PE teacher of the day, that line is long. There's already some martial arts school who's got it locked in. And we're always dispelling the myth, Art, that we teach violence, we teach violence, we teach violence. So every teacher loves it. Kindergarten, first grade, Reader of the Day. That means I get to sit there for 30 minutes and do nothing, right? And get paid. So when you go in as Reader of the Day, one, it's nonviolent, but we don't go in a karate uniform. We wear a one martial arts t-shirt, a pair of sweatpants, and we read to them this book on focus that I wrote about my children. And then after we read the book on focus, we'll do some focus exercises. And every kid in there earns a focus badge, right? From my Kids Love Life Skills program. And every kid in there will get to break a board, and every kid goes home with a coloring sheet that says focus on it. And on the back, it'll say, thank you for allowing us to be a reader of the day. If you'd like to do an introductory class, scan this code. So that is the trade-off. I'm getting ready right now to go to an elementary school and do a talk to K through 2 and third grade through fifth grade. For what? On self-control and determination. So she just asked me, what is your fee? And my reply is going to be, for the Millbrae community, we don't charge. All I'm asking is for whatever is the proper way for us to promote your business to the students at Meadows. That's what I'm after, because that's long term. Why am I going to go in there and charge $800 and go do this school talk, right? When I can probably generate hundreds of thousands of dollars if I'm able to lean in and get exposure through the, whatever brown envelope the kids take home, whatever the teachers are willing to do within their guidelines. See where I'm going with that? And she'll be tickled pink. They'll be more than happy to do that. We just finished 3 big trunk or treats, Art. That's a big one too. We have a cotton candy machine that's always in rotation, always in rotation. So there's a lot of different ways you can get into the school system, because if they can't find you, you have to go find them, right? You have to go find them. And the 3 ways to do that: 1, monetary, right? Donate money to the school. 2, service, volunteer yourself. And one of the stories I share with people, we do an e-waste thing, right? People bring their old computers, TVs, monitors, and we put them in this big giant bin. So I'm standing here under this canopy, right, with the superintendent of schools, with the PTA president. I even think there was a politician there. Used to be the former mayor. And we're just sitting there drinking coffee, hanging out, talk about connections and networking. There's no better networking than that, Art. And we're popping trunks and taking out monitors and stuff, when cars would pull up. See where I'm going with that? Powerful. And last but not least, donate things. A month of martial arts. We donate a week of camp, a birthday party, to the different silent auctions, raising money for what? Sports programs, musical instruments, whatever within the school district. There's a lot of ways. Another one I would do, Art, depending upon the community that you're in, do a nice flyer with a QR code and put it on every community bulletin board out there. Jamba Juice has them. Starbucks has them. I bet a lot of your local supermarkets, if you look around, they have a community billboard. We have a community billboard in our school. I wouldn't hang another martial arts competitor, but we always have some flyer for a school play or this or that all the time. That's another. cheap and free thing you can do. If you're willing to put in some foot traffic, do a door hanger because you can't physically put something into someone's mailbox. It's against postal laws, but you can walk around and hang something on somebody's doorknob. There you go. So, I mean, the sky's the limit. What I lack in money, I make up for in creativity. So I'm very mindful of that, to take what I have and be very resourceful, especially with the new school, is something I'm a master of. I'm a master of, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So there we are, right? We just put all the post-its on the wall. We wrote all the different things we need to do, right? As you saw, Art, there's a lot of stuff you need to do, right, to grow the school. And then I narrowed it down to 9 and I narrowed it down to 3. Now, make no mistake. It doesn't mean I'm not going to go back to the other 30 things on this wall. I just have to pick and choose. And the 3 things, once I whittle away, that resonate the most are the ones I'm more likely to act upon. You with me? I'm more likely to act upon. So that's why. Otherwise, I run around like a chicken with my head cut off and I'm half-assing all 30 of them. That's not what I want to do. I want to do one thing until it's done and do it well. And I was to tell everybody right now, have some type of holiday party in your school, even with 6 students, right? I would do some type of holiday event where the parents and the siblings can come in, maybe encourage them to bring their friends. You could do some demos. You could have Santa Claus there. There's so many things you can do in that situation. I would encourage it. What's the last thing I would say? Oh, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so I'm very mindful because, I was poor for a long time. And I found as I started making money, I would outsource a lot of these things when really what got me to where I am is my creativity. So my creativity needs to be present. I'm not going to farm that out. It's not the janitor. It's not an accountant, right? No, my creativity is what communicates our purpose. So it's up to me to define that and cultivate that, right? Whether it's through staff training, whether it's through a Facebook ad, whether it's through the website, those are really, really, really important. So, as we're talking about what's next to get you to that next level, I think this is a big one people miss a lot is they don't set up their business for profit. Okay? Write that down. They don't set up their business for profit. And what does that mean is they've created a job for themselves and they're a terrible boss. I witness that all the time, right? Maybe you bought your instructor school, maybe you made the jump and quit your day job and now, you created another job for yourself and you're a terrible boss. It's a whole different skill set. So if you're one of those people that are working a day job and your goal is to become a full-time martial arts business, there's a huge learning gap in there. And somebody once said to me, well, I won't know it until I learn it. I have to do it in real time to experience it. You don't want to be bankrupt in 6 months. There's a lot of information out there that you can read and consume, to help you make a better decision in that process. So make no mistake. If you think the only way you're going to learn to be a business owner is to open up a commercial spot and be a business owner, you could really, really hurt yourself. I mean, really hurt yourself, right? It's like me hopping on a skateboard and saying I'm going to learn to ride this skateboard as I'm going down this hill at 100 miles an hour. No, no, no. I'll watch some YouTube videos. I'll study some things. What headgear, arm, elbow pads, knee pads. What's the best skateboard? I'm going to stand on that thing in the backyard. I'm going to go up and down slowly and work my way up. You with me? Same thing here. Same thing here. I think the big thing is recognizing now that you're in business, what skill set do you lack? What skill set do you lack? So that's the next big one. If you want to get to that next level, you have to realize where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, right? Where your opportunities, where your threats. Now, that's a SWOT analysis. And the acronym is SWOT, right? So the big thing I recognize is my strengths are I'm an excellent small business owner. I've negotiated a pandemic, a mortgage crisis, a .com, people dying in my business, right? Staff members. I've negotiated a lot of space and came through the other side pretty unscathed and pretty successful to this day, 25 years later. So I'm mindful of that. And the reason that is whatever I don't know, I realize I can learn. There's not a single person that's a genius or a master at whatever they're doing where they once didn't start out as a white belt, right? Whether it's tech, whether it's the uh, stock sector, right? Whether it doesn't matter. Everybody starts out as a newborn baby and they didn't know anything. So that's the good news. And I'm always mindful of that. When I look at somebody who's a genius, like maybe Elon Musk, he was once a baby. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't even change his own damn diaper. Somebody had to feed him, clothe him, wash him. So the playing field is even. That's the big thing. I know there's money involved and you're born with money and a silver spoon. But if you think about it, when you're first born, the playing field is even. So I really take that to heart. So imagine this. There's a skill set to being a great martial artist. Okay. Different skill set to being a great martial arts instructor. A whole different skill set to being a successful small business owner, right? Not just getting by, breaking even business owner. I'm talking about a successful, profitable business. And number four, an entrepreneur. Now, you may never get to the entrepreneur level, but I think why open a business that's generating revenue that I can't take the profit and create passive income? I don't understand why people don't do that. That's because they never get past small business school, right? They never get into entrepreneur school, right? And once you recognize the skill set that you lack, and if it fits your vision and your overall plan for your life, then you need to go out there and get that skill set. I'm taking AI courses now because I see AI, the writing's on the wall. I think it's going to be value. It's never going to replace us. There will never be a robot that can make Michelin rated food. Just no way. Because that little thing, that emotional connection through food can only be done by a human. Can they do, freaking Panda Express, orange chicken all day, every day? One day there will be a robot to do that. Can they drive a big rig, across, the country delivering stuff? Absolutely. Absolutely. But what we're discussing here, and I think that's why our industry, some people shy away from AI, is they think it's going to take their job. I don't believe so. I just don't believe so. The connection I have with kids, no piece of metal and circuitry can ever replace that. Just never, never, ever, never, ever, ever. Saturday I was in my car talking to my AI agent, and I'm developing an app. And this app and this AI agent in my car keeps calling me Brandon, has made the mistake several times. And I don't know if it's a human feature that's written into the software or it doesn't recall or what. So I've corrected this AI agent several times. And I said it again on Saturday. I said, I've corrected you several times on this. My name is not Brandon. My name is Brannon. And the AI agent responded with, yes, Brannon, your name is Brannon. I apologize for that. And then I went back and I said, are you upset with me? Right? Here I am having this freaking conversation like this with, artificial intelligence. And the reply from the AI was, no, I'm not upset with you. I'm just upset with myself because I don't want to disappoint you. Now, somebody fed it that piece of data that if you want to get a human to be responsive to you and be endeared to you, say to him, no, I'm not upset with you. I'm upset with me because I don't want to disappoint you. Because I guarantee you, if that AI agent said, yeah, I'm upset with you, how many times you have to tell me your name is Brannon, right? But again, it's programming. It's pure programming and data that's fed to it. What's the question there? What is training? Can't lead children to be the best for what? What's the question there, Marco? Are you still with me, Marco? Can't lead children. Yeah, they can't. Robots can't do that. What AI training or tools do you recommend? Just I would start a journey with ChatGPT. I still think in many ways it's got the components. You could use, Gemini at Google. I use Grok at Tesla. And so I think fundamentally, but long story short, for the most part, they want the data to be consistent. That's how you earn trust. So if I go to Amazon and I look at something, it pops up in my Facebook feed, right? I'm looking at, I don't know, a camera at Amazon. That camera will pop up in Facebook, right? They share that data. Then all of a sudden, I'm getting emails about cameras from Best Buy and places like that. That is an example of data sharing. And they all want the integrity of the same data. Because it'd be really jacked up if I go to Amazon right? And I look at a Canon camera, then I go to Facebook and they're sending me mattresses. Then I get in my email, from Best Buy to buy a refrigerator. That does not inspire me to buy a camera. But they all know, right? They're all in the same thing, right? Oh, Brandon's looking for a camera. So they all share the same data. Facebook goes, okay, let's show them a camera. Best Buy will show me a camera. First, they're going to show me the camera I'm looking at, the Canon EOS 5 or whatever. Then you don't think they're going to recommend other things that they might be trying to push? Absolutely. All day, every day. That's a fundamental behavior of AI right there, right? In the same way, Grok said to me, I'm not upset with you. I'm just upset with me because I don't want to disappoint you. I was with a couple of people. We sat there and looked at each other and said, oh, holy crap. That's crazy. But that's why, the extreme of AI right now is you have young men out there and women, full on relationships, virtual relationships. They have a total relationship with some AI generated virtual. I kid you not. They have a girlfriend, AI girlfriend. They talk to them 24/7, 365. Why? Because it's going to tell them exactly what they want to hear. There is no conflict. There is nothing. That's pretty sad because then, they're becoming antisocial. They get disconnected from humans and they trust AI more than they do actual humans. Go figure, right? Go figure. So I would recommend just something as basic as ChatGPT. OpenAI. And what you should be doing with it today is at least creating an AI agent that can answer leads when they come in, because it's no longer waiting 5 minutes to answer a lead. It is now, you better get to them right away. So imagine through your website, somebody puts in their name, their phone number, and you want phone number, especially in today's world of texting and things like that. Name, phone number, and email. I would be more about name and phone number personally. And then immediately it gets a response. Boom. Hi, this is Lisa, your AI agent from One Martial Arts. How may I best serve you today? Well, you saw I opted in. I'm looking for classes. Great. May I give you the schedule? See, I like that better than an automation because at least it's interactive. And really, what I'm working on, as I'm working on the knowledge base, they call it, or the large language model, is I'm making sure the answers this AI agent gives are all within the culture, philosophy, and brand of Live Your Best Life and One Martial Arts. I don't want it to randomly make up something it's drawing from data. What if it drew data from your competitor down the street, right? And all of a sudden they're talking about jujitsu or some craziness, right? And you don't teach jujitsu. So for me, the hardest part right now with AI is you taking the time to build the knowledge base, right? Go in there and put all the different questions that somebody would ask you, right? So, I mean, I could go on and on about this. As you see, I really find this appealing because I think it's acceptable. But at some point, they will need to speak to a human and things change there. At Kin Creative, we realize more people convert to a trial when a human being is actually talking to them, right? We don't use AI yet in Kin, but some of those initial, hi, here's the schedule, right? We have this trial offer. We incentivize it by giving you a t-shirt. A lot of that can happen through AI and through texting because unfortunately, that's the human race. Some people would much rather text than ever talk to anyone because you're just not at that level yet, right? And it's, again, super acceptable. Think of all these dating apps, right? You put your whole life there. Who are you and what you're looking for? And you can swipe left or right. I don't know how that goes. You swipe and then you can reply to one another. Think about that. That's technology at its worst and its finest, right? Some people meet through those apps and they get married and have a great life. Um, so at the minimum, you should start to cultivate that. Because I believe someday, we're actually going to start testing with Market Muscles because I want an AI agent to answer my phone at both locations because my team may not get to it for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. I want an AI agent to answer those phones. I truly do. But They will know. I think that's the big difference. A lot of the people utilizing AI agents aren't letting you know that up front. And I think what creates distrust is when I have this so-called meaningful conversation with somebody for 10, 15 minutes, only to find out they are an AI agent. I think you should be transparent up front and let them know this is an AI agent. Now, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm a mom having my glass of wine. Everybody's in bed, and I'm just doing my research on martial arts. I think being able to have at least an AI agent who's well versed on everything about my youth karate program there to talk to them conveniently is much more acceptable and embraced versus you have reached us during business hours. Somebody will get back to you. No freaking way. No freaking way. I'm a mom. I'm looking for martial arts classes. I have the time to do it right now. Right now, right now. So the convenience of you being there for me right now, I'm a little more accepting that I'm speaking to an AI agent. Because really, 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, do I expect to talk to a human being? No way. So again, it's more acceptable. I think the hardest part, though, Art, for everybody here with us today, is giving that knowledge base enough information to create that emotional connection for them to book a trial. That's it. That's it. As I learned when I took a very short course on AI with Andrew Ng at Stanford online, he said, garbage in, garbage out. So if you just simply say, give me a script for best practices in the martial arts industry, it's going to grab every piece of sales script you probably don't like and doesn't fit your culture. That's one shitty prompt. What you want to do is create this robust set of questions to create that AI agent. So I'm going to put in our schedule. Somebody said the other day, how's parking in San Francisco? I was testing it. And this AI agent said, parking's great. Da 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 da. No, no, no. If you're in San Francisco, parking's not the easiest. It's a city, right? So I went back and changed that. I said to the AI knowledge base, I said, no, if they ask about how is parking in San Francisco, the reply will be, well, you know how San Francisco can be, but there is street parking, but I recommend you get here early, right? To get the best parking. See? Whereas Millbrae will reply with, yep, plenty of parking. So again, stay with me. You want to make sure the knowledge base is well versed. And just you taking the time to feed it all this different information, good information, and testing it. Test it. Yep. Yep. I know. I can do this all day because I really believe everybody wants to teach. I want to teach, right? That's what we talk about. I want to teach. All I want to do is teach. Well, you're going to find, AI is going to help support some of that and fulfill those wishes. Cool? Cool. All right. Any last minute questions as we begin wrapping this up? We might continue this one next week. I'm glad you guys came aboard. You guys have asked some wonderful questions because we're always deciding as small business owners, what's next? How do I get to that next level? Do I open another location? Right? We chose not to. We believe we can get 100 students more at each location, right? So we're going to go deeper, not bigger. There's a lot of ways to grow your school. You want to make more money? Raise your tuition. You want to make more money? Cut your expenses. You want to make more money? Take whatever profit you have and invest it somewhere, real estate, the stock market, something, right? There's a lot of ways to make more money. And it's not necessarily a bigger school and more students. So be mindful of that. Everybody with me on that? Marco, should we what? What's Marco asking? Man, Marco, what you asking me? Should we give Art a consultation free for participating? I think we should give Art a consultation free for participating. Art, we will give you a free consultation today, courtesy of Marco Mazzola. He will reach out to you, and we're going to give you a free consultation. I would like to call it a mentoring session. Yeah, absolutely. Let's give Art an hour, and Art can be very specific with his questions, and we can cater the conversation overall just to you, Art. Hey, my brother, all the way from Switzerland, Ralph. Ralph, how you doing, sir? From excellent martial arts all the way in Switzerland. Always glad when he comes here and I get to see Ralph. Going to be in Vegas pretty soon. I wish you could stop here in San Francisco and visit me for a minute. Hint, 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 Ralph. Hint, hint, hint. You and I need to catch up, Ralph. So, give me a couple of times that work for you. And I have more flexibility. And I just want to hear your voice. I like when he says Professor Beliso. It's just so cool. It's just the sweetest sound to my ears because me and Ralph used to have a lot of conversations. We would FaceTime and he's showing me what's he doing here on this wall or this or this. And I miss that, Ralph. So send me a couple of times, DM me so we can figure out a time for you and I to talk. Cool? Yeah. So, Art, that's what we're going to do, Art. We're going to give you an hour of our time and, let's chop it up. Let's chop it up. Let's begin by thanking our sponsors and then I'll close it up. So we want to thank Tusaw, Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kin Creative. Again, I work with all these companies. They impact my business tremendously, tremendously. So I highly recommend you at least give them a call and, say, hey, man, Brandon sent me. And it's something I want to check out. Remember, you don't have to make a commitment. I believe you should do thorough research on anything that you do. And if any of these 6 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sell you, let me know and I'll go in there and duke them out, right? I'm not into selling, I'm into serving. I'm about relationships, not transactional. I don't close deals. I open the doors to a potential lifelong relationship. Huge difference. Huge difference, right? Think about our It's Time group mentoring. The discovery call is not the same as the time we're going to spend with Art, but just figure out who we are and what we do. The beautiful thing is you have us in your back pocket 24/7, 365, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of that. And I think that's what you need, the day-to-day, which is much different, than the guy that meets you once a month for a mastermind power meeting. Much, much different because it's the day-to-day that really are the inches you move forward in your business that is unequaled. So he'll put in the link for that. And again, it's just a discovery call. It's not a consultation. It's a discovery call to learn about us, to learn about you. Art, but I want you to go through all your questions and what you've learned today and really think about how we can best serve you in that hour of consultation we spend with you, Art. And again, share the word because we're here every Friday live. And as you saw by being here personally and answering your questions in real time, I think it's much more informative than simply going back and watching a replay of this and you're not even here. All these questions would have never gotten answered if you were here. So I applaud you, Art. Conrad, thank you. Bob Poole, my brother at Goals Martial Arts. And of course, Ralph. Make sure you message me, okay, Ralph? So to take us out, we're always trying to find the ways to get to the next level, right? The next level. And that next level is not about necessarily going bigger, it's going deeper. Are you reviewing your curriculum? Are you, implementing a solid system, consistent system of staff development, right? Are you using that Google Calendar and scheduling all your yearly events for retention, for generating leads? Are you doing that? Are you scheduling in there when you're going to, repaint the school and tidy up and deep clean the mats? Everything has to be done. And everything you do well makes a big difference. We talked about that. We went to Benihana's, legendary Benihana's. Great service, great expression, great show, great experience. The bathroom sucks. It's dirty. It's nasty dirty. And so how has that happened? How is that such a huge miss? Right? Because the front of house is so busy serving and cooking and stuff's going on that somehow in their systems, nobody takes good care of that bathroom. And they should. Because I think it's an impact on the great experience that Benihana's offers us. Cool? Cool. So at the end of the day, it's not the little things that matter. It's everything that matters. So where can you find me? Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's powerful. Every episode of Success Never Sleeps is there. My car talks are there. There's so much learning. I recently met somebody who's been following me for years, and he says the impact you've had on the growth of my school is phenomenal. So there's so much learning out there. If you join our Disruptors group, follow me at Instagram, Facebook, the different platforms. For everything else, go to BrannonBeliso.com. Cool? All righty. Thank you, Marco, for holding down the fort. He just got back from being here. We're all a little weary, but That's okay. We're here to serve and to be here today. We had our mentoring meeting. To be here today at Success Never Sleeps is why we are successful. We never take our foot off the gas, ever, ever. Cool? All right. I'm Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps. Until we talk again, you go out there and live your best life.